Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by PHP Frameworks team. I am Sanjay. We are learning REST API development in PHP. This is our part 4. Inside this video session guys, we will start over functional part, that is create method of our REST API development. If I back to code editor, now in the last video we had actually configured about database connectivity inside our REST API PHP application, inside where actually we have made our database class and defined our database connectivity, and also we have checked inside the last video. Now inside this video we are going to start over the functional part inside this student.php. Now inside this we will also make a class, we will declare some variables, as well as we will make a create method. That create method basically used to insert the data inside our database table, as we have created also our database something REST API PHP. Inside this we have a table called table_students. So inside this table, if you go to structure, now these are the columns actually we want to insert from that method. So go to code editor, open up the file. So right now this file has no content, so let's get started. So class, this is a student. Now inside this student, firstly we need to declare some variables. So here let's say declare variables. So let's say public, and the variables actually we need to declare something about the name, email, mobile. These are the three columns actually we will insert, and rest of the two, it has a default value of 1 and created at the default value of the current MySQL server time. So we are not going to insert about 3 columns like ID, status and the created at. Only 3 columns we will insert from our API. So back to code editor. So let's say public, name, copy 3 times, so it should be email. Back to browser, copy this mobile and pasting it here. Now other also we have 2 variables, something called private and let's say connection, and something let's say private, and this is all about our table name. So now here we have a question is that why these variables are public and why these 2 variables are defined as private. And this is because these are the variables actually we are going to access inside the next videos about from our REST API. Means here inside this create.php we are going to make use of student.php as well as database.php. Now inside this file basically we are going to access these properties. So that's why we had defined about the public access specifier, but right now these are the privates because these are the properties actually we are going to use internally inside this class. This is all about our database connection and this is all about our table name. So inside this table we are going to use these variables and insert the data, and these variables basically we are going to use inside this file. So that's why we have declared as public. So back here, now next we are going to define our construct function. So here let's say constructor, and right here let's say public function, and this is all about let's say construct. Inside this construct function basically we are going to actually initialize some variable. So here inside this construct function basically we are going to pass a database object. Inside this file, when we call this student constructor, actually we will pass a database connection object inside the construct function. We will see this concept in our next video. So right now, after getting the connection object variable, we are going to actually give this value, means this connection equal to db. It means that this is the connection object variable. By the help of this variable actually we have initialized this connection variable what we have defined inside this class. Now this property basically contains about the database connection. Now in the next we are going to actually initialize about the table name. So let's say that table, and this is all about this because this refers to the current class. So this table name, and we have the table name as If we back to browser to check the table name, and this is all about TPL underscore students. So copy that and pasting it here. Now we have actually initialized two variables about database connection as well as about the table name. All we have done with the construct function. Now in the next, we have defined one more method that is responsible for creating data to our database table. So let's say public function and let's say create data. Inside this, we have to write about the insert query. So let's say that SQL query to insert data. Now here, if I press enter, now here we have to write the query. So let's say that query equal to, let's insert into, and here we have to pass the table name, and the table name inside the variable we have called this, and this is table name. Let's say set name equal to, and I'm going to use about prepare statement to insert data. So for prepared statement, actually we need to pass about the placeholders. So this is for the name, and we have the next about email. So this is all about for the email, and the last field we have called mobile. So this is for the mobile. Now this is the dynamic placeholder. Actually we will pass the value in later on. So if I press enter here to break the line of codes, and this is the code actually we are going to use for the insert data. Now finally we have written the query. So let's say prepare the SQL query. Here let's say obj equal to, and this connection, this contains the database connection, and we are going to use called the prepare method, and inside this method I am to pass this query variable. Now let's say that we are receiving all the values basically inside these three variables called name, email and the mobile number. And now finally we need to bind, or actually before inserting these values inside our database, we want to sanitize these values first. What basically sanitization is? Sanitization means that we have to remove some extra special characters, as well as if some tags available in our values, then we have to remove all the extra things. Now next we are going to sanitize. So let's say sanitize input variables, and this process basically, let's say remove. So if I write some definition, basically removes the extra characters like some special symbols, as well as if some tags available in input values. So we are going to sanitize our values first. Means sanitize input variable, what it means basically removes the extra characters like some special symbols, as well as if some, actually I think that here we have some syntax error, so that's better. So for the sanitization, actually we are going to use two PHP functions. Firstly, HTML special characters as well as strip tags. So let's say for the name, let's say this name equal to HTML special chars, okay. This is not actually typing, so this is HTML special chars, and inside this function we're going to use called HTML, or let's say strip tags. This is also a PHP function. So we are just actually removing about firstly about the extra tags available inside input. After getting the filtered result, we are removing then our special characters from that string. Now inside this, I'm to pass, let's say this name. So inside this line we are getting about the name value, because this is a public variable, and this variable basically initialized inside this create.php file. So after getting this value, we are removing our extra tags as well as if there is any symbol, we are removing that. So this is the process called sanitization. Now same thing we need to repeat with our email as well as with the mobile. So let's say email, mobile, and here we have to change about, let's say, email. So this was for the email address. Now next we have for the mobile. So we have successfully sanitized our input as well. Now in the next, we need to actually bind these parameters with their prepared statement. What does it mean? It means that this name value is for here placeholder, this is value for here, and this mobile number is for here. So we have to tell our query that these are the values actually we will bind inside these placeholders. So for that, we are going to use this variable as the prepared statement variable. So let's say that obj, and we have a method something called bind underscore param. So let's say bind underscore param. Now this is the method actually we are going to use to bind our parameters with these placeholders. Now in the first parameter actually we are going to tell that what are the type of values, means data type of these values. So basically we have called name as a string value, for the email as a string value, and for the mobile it's same as the string value. If suppose the value contains about the integer value, so in that case we have to make it as I refers to the integer value. So these are the symbols actually we need to follow while passing any data type value with these placeholders. Now here let's say first as for our name, second as for email, and the third as for our mobile value. So successfully we have attached or bind our parameters with the prepared statement. Now next we have to execute that. So here we are just binding our parameters. So let's say binding parameters with prepare statement. Now in the next line actually we are going to execute that. So for the execute actually we have a method called if. We are checking here, so obj, and execute method we have. This will returns either true or the false value after executing our query. So here let's say executing query. Now if successfully executed means record has been inserted to our table. So in that case actually we are going to return about the true value, else we are going to return about the false value. So successfully guys, inside this video we had actually done about the first functional part of student.php, where we had created a method called create data. We had written about the insert query statement with the prepared statement. Inside this actually we need to understand about three different functions called the prepare method, if you go down, about bind param, and about the execute method. So inside the next video we are going to we will execute this create data and insert data inside our database table. So inside this video we have completed our first requirement, that is for the create.php about create data. Now this will insert about the datas inside our database table. So inside this video session guys, if you went out, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.